It doesn't matter if it is a long tail keyword or a highly competitive topic, what matters is the content of your article, because the best content wins. Of course, there are hundreds of ranking factors, but the baseline is always the content that makes the difference. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to optimize your content using rank math to position your article for massive traffic. Let's go. Hey, it's Jack here from Rank Math, the WordPress SEO plugin that gives your business the best chance of beating your competitors on search engines. We put out a lot of videos to help you grow your search traffic, so consider subscribing to our channel to get SEO and business knowledge delivered straight to your YouTube notification. Now, if you use Rank Math, you know that our SEO analysis tool is very comprehensive and it scores your content out of 100. It includes a lot of suggestions and recommendations to help you improve your content. But they are limited because they are based on a fixed algorithm that doesn't change. So if you're optimizing for a highly competitive topic, it is kind of hard to gauge how well you will do on search engines. And that's where our Content AI comes into play. Content AI is our proprietary content analysis tool that helps our free and pro users analyze their content against the articles ranked on the search engines with the same keyword. You don't need Rank Math Pro to use Content AI. Let me repeat this again in case you missed this. You don't need the pro version of Rank Math to use Content AI. It is designed for you as long as you use Rank Math. It costs less than 38 cents to analyze one content and have it rank highly on search engines. I will show you how valuable Content AI is in a while. If you are working on a free version of Rank Math, you've got 5 free credits. If you haven't tried it out yet, you gotta do so. Anyway, let me walk you through step by step on how to create and optimize your content using our analysis tools, and we will talk about how the Content AI credit system works and how you can use it without worrying about the cost. So you definitely want to stick with me to the end of this video. I'm pretty sure this video will help you out a lot in terms of writing and optimizing your content for both search engines and your audience. The first step to everything is to determine the topic you are writing about. In this example, we'll be targeting a topic called Best Cloth Diapers for Babies. And once you have determined your topic, let's add a new post. Go to Post and add New. Thereafter, you want to add that topic as the content title. This is the main topic we are targeting. Then you want to save this article as a draft. From there, you can click on the settings icon. Under Post, you will see this Permalink section where you can change the URL slug. The URL slug is basically the last part of your entire URL or permalink. If you want more details about the best permalink structure for your website, you may want to check out our other video popping out at the top right. We have left a link in the description as well. Anyway, having a short and concise permalink is part of the Rank Math's SEO analysis under Additional, and you will see this audit here. If your entire permalink or URL is shorter than 75 characters, you will pass this audit. If you're happy with this URL, then the next step is to know what you're optimizing for. As I've shown you, if you click on the Rank Maths tab, you will see all our SEO analysis suggestions. But before that, you've got to add a focus keyword here. And immediately you will see the change in the score, because Rank Math now knows what you are trying to optimize. Now, just note that all these suggestions here are run through our algorithm to make sure that your article is SEO friendly. It has nothing to do with the topic you are writing about. We should only optimize for all these audits once you have completed your article. And to get assistance and suggestions on the topic you are writing about, you can click on the Content AI button here. Notice that the focus keyword is already added. This is because you have added the focus keyword in our main analysis tool. Let's select the country you wish to target. In case your article is written specifically for your local audience, you will want to select your home country, but for this case, our target audience is worldwide, so I will select that. Let's hit on research. And let's give Content AI a while to populate the results. Now, what happens here is that Content AI will analyze all the articles that are ranking for the focus keyword, and it will extract all the commonalities and display it here. So as you can see, Content AI recommends that this article should have around 2,405 words to 3,608 words. In some circumstances, if you do some manual calculations by visiting articles on the search engines to determine the word count, the top ranking articles may have more or less than the range that is recommended here. But the key for this word count suggestions is that Content AI indicates the most optimal word count, which means if your article is within the range as suggested, it will have the highest chance of success. But just take note that this is suggestive and not definitive. Doesn't mean that your article length meets the recommended, it will rank. The same goes for the other suggestions as well. Your article's usefulness and depth trumps the word count and all these suggestions. So don't try to write a bunch of fluff or add a bunch of images and links that are not relevant just to reach the suggested. It doesn't work that way. Focus on the quality before optimizing for the quantity. However, if the quantity is below the range, try to compare what others have talked about and see if there is anything that you have missed. But if the quantity is above the range, try to analyze if your content is concise and if there are a lot of fluff and things unrelated to the topic. You want to remove them. In the end, if you find that your article is good enough to compete with the top ranking articles and it is still not within the suggested range, then you can leave it as it is because you have done your best optimizing your content. Anyway, if you scroll further, Content AI will suggest a list of keywords that you should use in your content. Sometimes you will find keywords that are country specific, sometimes you will find repeated keywords in different forms, and sometimes you will find multiple keywords that mean the same thing. So please do not feel that you have to use all the suggested keywords. These keywords are here to help you with your content to get discovered for relevant search queries. In some cases, it may even guide you to write your content. You should smartly use these keywords by naturally adding them to your content rather than keyword stuffing. We'll talk more about this as I walk you through writing out the content. Anyway, if you notice, as I hover over these keywords, it does pop up with something. In this case, it is showing no data available because these keywords are not that popular, but they are related to the main topic. However, if your main topic is popular, for example, Rank Math Review, you will see these data such as the ad competition, which indicates how competitive the keyword is for advertising campaigns. Businesses will try to bid for the top positions here as somebody types in that particular keyword. The CPC refers to the estimated cost for running a campaign on this keyword, and the volume indicates the estimated number of people searching for this keyword every month. This data is helpful as a gauge to the amount of traffic you will receive if you're ranking for the keyword. Now, if you click on this, you will see Content AI suggesting keywords not only for the content, but also for the headings, for the SEO title, as well as for the SEO description. For the headings, Content AI is suggesting that you should have some form of pros and cons on your recommendations. You should describe the types of cloth diapers, and there is something about all-in-one cloth diapers. For the SEO title, we have 1 out of 3 because of the title of the article, but the rest have the same meaning, but they are just jumbled up. And as for the SEO description, it means you should have these keywords at the start of your article. That's for the keywords. Let's go to the questions. I'm not sure if you know that there is this FAQ schema or markup that you can add to your articles which allow your article to have this accordion on the search result. It gives your search result more visibility, more context for the searcher, leading to a more positive impact on your search ranking. This is where the related questions section is helpful. If you want to know more about the FAQ schema or markup, you can check out the video popping up at the top right. The link is in the description as well. Now, these questions by itself can be a topic in your article, or they can be put under the FAQ heading. Again, we'll talk more about this as we write the content. And finally, there are the suggested external links where Content AI recommends that you link to these articles. For this case, Content AI only suggested these links. We will talk more on the about and mention schema in a while. For now, let's start working on the structure of the content. In this step, you can use Content AI as a guide to help you structure your content. For example, with the keyword suggestions, let's select headings. Immediately, we can see that the article should talk about the types of cloth diapers, and we should also talk about the pros and cons of using cloth diapers. So in our content area, let's put in different types of cloth diapers. And let's set this as a heading. And you will see this keyword turning green. Next, we have the all-in-one cloth diapers. And this is a type of cloth diaper. So we can add it in the content and make it a subheading. Notice that this keyword has not turned green. That's because it is not an exact match. You should always choose to write proper English rather than satisfying the keyword suggestion. As long as they mean the same thing, that's good enough. And then we have the pros and cons of using cloth diapers. Same thing here, nothing has turned green, but that's okay, as long as they make grammatical sense and they mean the same thing as the suggested keywords. We also have this Bambino Meal all-in-one cloth diaper, which is a product of a brand. So since this article is about the best cloth diapers for babies, we can add a heading with the same keyword, best cloth diapers for babies. Make this a H2 heading where you will list all the diaper products as H3 headings. So Bambino Meal all-in-one cloth diaper. Let's click to copy this. Let's paste this here. Make sure that it is grammatically correct and make this a H3 heading. Now, through your research, make sure that this is the best product you recommend before listing it here. No point in listing anything here if you don't believe in it. Don't try to satisfy content AI if it doesn't make sense to you. That's what I want to get across. I've done some thorough research and these are the best cloth diapers. So I'm listing them here. I'll make them all into H3 headings. Next, let's go to the content keywords. As you can see, heavy weathers is a cool keyword to use. I have an idea to put this keyword at the top of the article. Whether you are looking for the, let's click the copy and let's paste it here, or you are looking for an alternative to save money on conventional diapers. Remember, smart and natural way of adding keywords instead of stuffing keywords. This sentence turns this keyword green. And if you look into the SEO description, it has turned this keyword green as well. Because by default, the first 160 characters of your content will be used as the SEO description. Let's go back to the content. I find this keyword interesting and it should be included as a heading. So let's click on this keyword right under the pros and cons. Let's paste the keyword here. Let's make it a H2 heading and make sure that it is grammatically correct. This is just for consistency. Now, I think this question should be more of a frequently asked question, but let's see if this question is part of the FAQ suggestion. Now, before we analyze the questions, let's add a heading, frequently asked questions. Make this a H2 heading. And then let's click on this button to copy these questions as a FAQ block and paste the questions here. This will automatically add FAQ schema to these questions. And now we can analyze the questions. Which cloth diaper is best for baby? I think this is the main topic, shouldn't be part of the FAQ, so I will delete this. This is country specific, so I would not add this in. Let's delete this as well. This makes sense, so I will keep this question here. This makes sense too, I will keep it here. Now, let's cut this heading and include it in the FAQ block. Click on add new FAQ and let's paste the question here. I've done some research and these are the questions that should be added on the FAQ block. Notice that these are relevant questions that people will often ask before buying cloth diapers. This is how you should add questions to your FAQ block. The FAQ section should allow you to answer questions that people often think before making a buying decision. The key is to help your site visitors move forward in the direction you wish them to go. And finally, we have the final thoughts. Now, from here, you can already optimize your content using Content AI. Under this heading count, as you can see, we have used 5 H2 headings, which is within the recommended, but we have gone way above the recommended on H3 headings. Let's see the entire content structure. Click on this info icon, and here we go. Does this content structure make sense to you? If it is, honestly, don't worry about the overuse of H3 at this moment. Take this as a suggestion and not a hard and fast rule. Now, if we are happy about this structure, let's start writing our content. Obviously, I would not have you sit for hours watching me write the content. I will fast forward the process, but you just have to be mindful of the keywords suggested to you from Content AI. And you should include them naturally into your content, just as I've shown you. Plus, the key is to provide your readers with value that they intended to get when visiting your article, and you want to give them more. Another thing I want to highlight to you is to try to write out a textbook style answer whenever you are answering a question with a topic heading. For example, how often should you wash your cloth diapers? Do not beat around the bush to extend the article length like, if your baby pooped and you can smell it across the room. Take the cloth diaper out and start cleaning your baby's bum. Blah blah blah. You see, up to this point, you have not answered the question. So we recommend just going straight to the point like this. You should wash dirty cloth diapers immediately after 2 to 3 days to keep bacteria, molds, mildew, and germs from growing. Short and sweet. This may allow you to grab a featured snippet in case somebody searches for the keyword. Do this not only for the FAQ questions but also for questions across the entire article. Have a textbook style answer right after the question, and then you can continue to write accordingly. As you continue to write your content, you will see your score increasing. And finally, when you have completed your article, it's time to optimize it for massive traffic. Alright, for word count, I think we hit the mark. Again, don't try to write a bunch of fluff into your article to hit this word count. The focus of your content should be to help your readers gain value from your content and not to waste their time. Now, there are cases where it is almost impossible to include suggested optimizations at the current moment. Like for example, the link count. For external links, to achieve 23 of them is easy. Just add relevant links to your content and we can easily hit this 23. As you can see, when I've added 19 external links, this audit is already turning green. So we are good on the external links. If this is orange, it indicates that you have partially passed. Red means failed, and dark red, as you can see from this heading section, suggests that it is overused. Anyway, for internal links, to hit 24 is kind of difficult, especially when your website is new or you just don't have that amount of internal articles to link to. So this is an opportunity for you to discover new content topics to be written and then later on to be added as an internal link to this article. For example, in this article, natural fibers could be a topic that my site can discuss, but at this moment I don't have that article ready. So when I write an article that is related to natural fibers, I can add the internal link here. The key here is not to force anything onto the article just to make the metrics look nice. It should be as natural as possible. Heading count. We have discussed on this, but we can improve on it. As you can see, under the different types of cloth diapers, I don't think we necessarily need a H3 heading here because the explanation is short and there is not a whole lot to write about. So I think we can remove this H3 and make them bold. Let's do the same for the rest. It helps to reduce the number of H3 tags. Other than that, let's see what other tags we can reduce. All these do make sense, but I think I know where the problem is. For this FAQ block, by default, the questions are embedded with a H3 tag. We can change it to H4 tag because check out the content hierarchy. This is H2, the FAQ heading is H3, so naturally all these question titles should be H4 headings. So if you click on this FAQ block and you click on the gear icon, these are all the settings for the FAQ block, and over here under title wrapper, as you can see, currently it is H3. We can turn that into H4. Let's head back to Content AI. We have drastically reduced the H3. From here, I don't think there is any other way to reduce H3. So from our article, it is inevitable that we have more H3 heading tags because we have more product recommendations and we provide a lot more depth to the topic. This is the best we can do for this optimization in my opinion. In general, you do not need to follow the suggestions to a T, make the effort to follow it, but if you can't, as long as your content makes sense and it is justified, then it is good to go. For the media count, we have added 13 images, which is within the range. As for the video, if you wish to add, for example, a YouTube video, you can do so here. But if not, if you think that an embedded video that is not from your brand will decrease your brand value, then don't add it. It is totally fine as well. And finally, there is one more thing I need to cover, which is the About and Mention schema. Now the About and Mention schema. This is a feature from Rank Math Pro. And as you know, the purpose of schema markup is to allow search engines to better understand your content. So over at Content AI under links, remember we have talked about related external links. These suggested links here should give context to the search engines telling them what your content is about. For example, this 6 ways to fold a pre-fold diaper. This article is quite helpful and it adds value to this part of the article. So I'll copy the link and let's add the link here. You will notice that RankMath provides you with two additional options, the Set to About and Set to Mentions. The key here to use About and Mention schema is to not only add these schemas to authoritative pages like Wikipedia and official website links, as search engines have a better understanding of the topics of these pages and it could relate to your content a lot better. So ask yourself, if this is an authoritative website and if the article enhances the value of your article. If yes, set this link with the About and Mention schema. The key difference between the About schema and the Mention schema is that the About schema should be marked for links that are directly related to the main topic of your article, whereas the Mention schema is used on related topics. So in this case, I've determined that this is an authoritative website and that this link talks about a related topic of this article and not the main topic. So I will set this as Mentions instead of About. So it really depends on your use case. Alright, I think we have done our best on the Content AI optimization. Before we move forward to the last step, which is the SEO Analysis Optimization, let's talk about the credit system of Content AI. We really think that the Content AI is super useful to you, and that's why we recommend that you incorporate it into your content creation strategy. As you can see, 50 credits only cost you $19, and if you divide it out, every credit costs 38 cents, which means it costs 38 cents to have a better chance of ranking your article. To me, as a content creator and a site owner, it makes total sense. Now, the more you buy, the cheaper it is. 150 credits cost 33 cents per credit, and 450 credits cost 22 cents per credit. You only need to use one credit towards one article or topic. Those data that you receive from Content AI will be stored on your server, so you don't have to waste a credit every time you use it. You will only spend a credit whenever you hit this research button or you click on the refresh button if there is one here. Every time Content AI analyzes a content, a credit will be used. That's basically it. So you don't have to worry about analyzing the content over and over again on one article. All the data you receive is set and final for a period of time. When you revisit this article again after a couple of months, when you hit the refresh button again, the suggestions will change because our AI learns and improves itself based on the recent data. We recommend revisiting your articles at least once a year after its publication. Refresh Content AI and re-optimize your content to keep it up to date. That's how authority sites grow in traffic, even when they do not publish as much new content. So that's for the Content AI optimization. Now let's head over to the SEO analysis from RankMath. Now, once you have optimized the article with Content AI, you will naturally see a favorable score from our SEO analysis. As long as your score is above 81, the green indicator will show, which means that you have passed the SEO audit on your article. Between the score of 51 to 80, the color will be yellow, and anything below 51 will be red. Now let's see what we are missing here. The focus keyword doesn't appear at the beginning of your content. Let's look at what we have at the top of the article. Now, if you think this makes sense, you don't have to worry about anything, but it really depends on you. You can add another example here, or you are just looking for the best cloth diaper for babies. But honestly, this is not natural, and there are too many best cloth diapers in one paragraph. So I'll just remove this. Frankly, don't force anything. Your article needs to be natural. As you can see, the basic SEO focuses a lot on the focus keyword being added to the right places. It needs to be in the URL, the SEO meta description, the SEO title, beginning of your content, and it has to be found in the content, and then the content length. If you ask for my opinion, I think the content length from the Content AI has more weight over this metric here because that's topic specific, while this is a general metric. Next, as you can see, we have added a lot of images, but we have not added a focus keyword in the alt text. So let's see if it makes sense to add the focus keyword into any of these images. I think this works. Let's add the focus keyword here. And immediately, if we go back to the SEO analysis, we will see that we have passed this audit. Anyway, every image that you have needs to have an alt text because it gives context to the search engines as to what your image is about. Now, for the keyword density, It is a measure of all the primary and secondary keywords used in the article. And honestly, there is no perfect keyword density. Too high of a keyword density, it is a bad quality signal which might get you kicked out from the search results. So a percentage of 1 to 1.5% of keyword density should be good enough. But more importantly, your content needs to be natural. So if you want to have a clear measure of your keyword usage, you need to add the related keywords and keyword variations as secondary focus keywords. And you should have a clear gauge if you have overused keywords in your content. Now, in case you want to remove this audit from our SEO analysis, you can check out this article. It will show you how to remove the audit from the test. We have left the same link in the description. Now, we have talked about the URL length. It should be below 75 characters. We are linking to external resources as we have done with the content AI optimization, and we are adding internal links which are important. So basically, if you have optimized for content AI, you will naturally get a pass on these audits. And if, for example, you have already written a content on this focus keyword, you will not pass this audit. You shouldn't even start on this article if you did not pass this audit. And then comes the title readability. The focus keyword needs to be in the SEO title, which is this. If you want to check out what is the SEO title, you can click on this edit snippet. So this title tag basically means it is taking the content from over here. And that's why we have passed that audit. And then as for the title, it needs to have a positive or negative sentiment because it generates more clicks. Our SEO analysis checked this based on the words listed on these 2 pages. If you want to check them out, we have left links in the description. As for this power word, we checked this based on the list of power words we have on this article. Again, the link is in the description. In case you want to add your own power word into the analysis, feel free to do so using this filter code, which is to be added to your theme file. Feel free to follow this guide. The link is in the description as well. And for this, RankMath recommends that your article should have a number in the title to make it more enticing. Again, this really depends on you. We have 13 cloth diaper recommendations in our case, so let's just add 13 in front of the best, and we have passed this audit. Next, for content readability, we recommend to add a table of contents on this page, but honestly, RankMath doesn't check if you have a table of contents on this page. We check this audit based on the theme and plugins you use. As you can see, we haven't added any table of contents on this page, but we have passed this audit. The reason is because we have activated the Cadence Blocks plugin on this website, where there is a table of contents here, and it is compatible with RankMath's check. The same goes for these other plugins. So if you don't find this audit relevant to you, feel free to remove this audit by going through this article. The link is in the description. Next, we're using short paragraphs. If your article did not pass this audit, for example, if you see a clutter of words like this, try separating it by hitting enter at the punctuation, and this will look a lot better. And finally, your content contains images or videos, as we have done in the optimization with content AI. That's basically it. Now you know how to optimize your content for the best results on search engines. I really hope you have gained some insights here. We highly recommend that you start using our content AI to analyze your new and existing content. If you find this video helpful, please do us a little favor and smash that thumbs up button. We really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification to get SEO and business knowledge delivered straight to your YouTube notification. This is Jack from RankMath. I'll see you in the next video.